At approximately 9 a.m. on Friday, March 19, 1982, a terrible accident would take the life of 3 people, including guitar icon Randy Rhoads. The accident occurred in Leesburg, Florida, where the touring party of Ozzy Osbourne was parked in their tour bus, awaiting departure for the next gig. The band's bus driver, Andrew Aycock, happened to also be a private pilot. He decided to take out a single-engine Beechcraft F-35 plane and fly about with some of the crew, including keyboardist Don Airey and Jake Duncan, the band's tour manager. The first flight ended without incident, and Aycock offered to do a second with Randy Rhoads and the band's makeup artist Rachel Youngblood. Randy Rhoads, who had a fear of flying, only boarded the plane so he could take some aerial photographs for his mother. But when Aycock attempted to fly over the tour bus parked below, a plane wing clipped the roof of the bus, spiraling it and its 3 passengers off course and into the fatal crash that caused the death of Randy Rhoads. The accident and its fallout has been well documented over the years, but in this video we have compiled the surviving actual news reports that were broadcast in the hours after the accident. If you stick around to the end of the video, you will also get to hear Ozzy Osbourne himself recollect the terrible events of that otherwise beautiful Florida morning.
Larry, further to what you said a moment ago, Randy Rhoads, lead guitarist for Ozzy Osbourne's band, has been killed in a fiery plane crash in Leesburg, Florida. For the latest, let's go to Leesburg and entertainment writer John Marlowe.
What I know so far is that Randy Rhoads, a 25-year-old lead guitarist for the Ozzy Osbourne band, was killed while buzzing a mansion in Leesburg, Florida. He was killed along with the pilot of the plane and a woman called Rachel Youngblood, who I have was the hairstylist to the band, who I guess travels with the band. Like Ozzy Osbourne is supposedly okay. He wasn't in the airplane. He was in either an automobile or a van that the plane struck before it hit the house, but he's still okay. The other band members were in the house, but they escaped injury. So it's just really the lead guitar player for the band. Osbourne is slated to play here on Sunday in a concert at the Orange Bowl. And I spoke to the promoter of the event just a few minutes ago, and he said that Ozzy is still planning to appear if he can find a new lead guitarist in time.
Why were they buzzing the house, John?
I don't have that information. I think probably is maybe a joke or just messing around or something like that.
Whose house was it?
It was a house they were staying at. The information I have was, it was an estate where, like, the band was just staying at. They had a concert in Leesburg, so I guess instead of checking into a hotel, they may have rented a house for the evening.
Thank you, John. Once again, Randy Rhoads, lead guitarist for Ozzy Osbourne's band, has been killed, along with 2 others, in a Florida plane crash. The Beechcraft Bonanza they were in had been dangerously circling a mansion the group is staying at. Seconds before it crashed, the plane clipped a van Ozzy was in. Ozzy is all right. Here in town, no major traffic problems to report this afternoon. Last night, Ozzy Osbourne's band played in Knoxville, Tennessee, and they were on their way to Orlando for a gig that's going to be held tomorrow called Rock Super Bowl 14, scheduled at 11 in the morning, the Tangerine Bowl. They stopped at this place called Leesburg, Florida. They arrived there in their bus. Ozzy and a couple of the other band members went to sleep in the bus. Randy Rhoads decided with a couple other people to go for a bit of a joyride. So they took off in a light aircraft, an Apache, from the airport. Lake County Sheriff's Captain Jim Brown said the victims decided to go for a ride. The aircraft circled the airport 3 times, coming down and buzzing the field each time, he says. The 3rd time it struck a large bus, spun off through a tree, pinwheeled over upside down into a house, and exploded into flames. Brown said that the portion of the house struck by the plane was gutted in that accident, which occurred at 10 o'clock this morning. There was apparently no one in the house at the time of the crash. That's what happened. Randy Rhoads dead at the age of 25. To any more details, we'll have them for you. We're watching this story. And stand by now, because it's going to be the announcement of the semifinalists for the 1982 Q107.
The British rock singer Ozzy Osbourne, formerly with the group Black Sabbath, escaped injury when a plane made 2 low passes over the house in Florida where he was staying with his present band and then crashed into it. But the group's lead guitarist and makeup artist were killed. Osbourne, who's from Birmingham, has achieved notoriety through outrageous stage antics, including biting the heads off birds. Keith Hindle reports.
A private plane buzzed the house in Leesburg, Florida, where the group was staying. On the 3rd pass, the pilot clipped their tour bus, parked outside, and ploughed into the house, killing the group's lead guitarist, Randy Rhoads, and the makeup artist, Rachel Youngblood. He also killed himself. Ozzy Osbourne was sitting in the bus at the time, but somehow survived unhurt. All the other members of the group also escaped, even though petrol from the wrecked plane started a fierce fire and gutted the house.
According to police, the 3 were on an early morning joyride after staying up over 24 hours, while some members of the Ozzy Osbourne band slept in their tour bus parked next to the house. The other 3 buzzed overhead, circling the bus 3 times. On the 4th time, they didn't make it.
The plane had been flying treetop level roughly 3 times, and then after the 4th pass, he tipped the bus on the opposite side, and then it went over the top of the bus, the plane did, and hit a pine tree in the front yard, and after it hit the pine tree, it nosedived into the home.
The home then burst into flames, and killed were the band's lead guitarist, hairdresser, and bus driver, 36-year-old Andrew Aycock, who was also the plane's pilot. They were flying in a Beechcraft Bonanza like this one. No one was injured in the home, which is reportedly owned by country music singer Jerry Calhoun. The band was on a tour which included a concert this weekend at the T-Bowl. Police say the band's bus driver lived nearby and brought the band here for a brief stop before continuing on. Near Leesburg, Marty Salt, Channel 9, Eyewitness News.
What happened was we did a gig in Knoxville, Tennessee, and we'd driven through the night from Knoxville, and we were going to do a show with Foreigner down in Orlando. And as it happens, the bus depot is in Orlando, and we had to stop it off at the depot to get some parts for the bus. I think it was a jack or something. And I'd gone to bed very late that night. I was up talking to Randy till about the early hours of the morning. We were talking about, because he wanted to do his idea was to go to college and get a degree in classical music. And I said, well, wait until the end of the tour and we'll talk again. We were just having a general rap, And I went to bed at the back of the bus with my wife. The next minute I know, I'm woken up with an almighty bang on the bus. It's like a terrific explosion, and I looked down the other end of the bus, and there was all this broken glass down the other end of the bus, and I said to Sharon, we've had an accident. I'm still thinking we're on the freeway. So I run down the bus, I look out the window, and we're in the middle of a field, and I'm thinking, I don't know where the hell I am. And I run back, put some pants on, grabbed my wife, and got off the bus, and the bus was virtually cut in half. And what had happened was the driver of the bus also had a private pilot's license, and it had a small airstrip on the bus depot. It's a big area, so he took the guys up to take an aerial photograph of the bus and whatever, and he made an error with one of his judgments and clipped the side of the bus with the wing of the plane and exploded into this big house. And the autopsy said that Randy was killed instantaneously, so that, it's tragic that he went, but it's nice to know that he didn't suffer at all.
Now, there was, besides your bus driver, who was the pilot of the plane, and Randy Rhoads...
There was my Sharon seamstress woman, a black lady, who'd worked with Sharon for many, many years. She was like a second mother to Sharon. And she was a 58-year-old woman with a heart problem, so she wasn't... I got all these rumours that one of your Ozzy's practical joke went wrong and all the rest. There was no clowning around by any of the people, because... Rachel, she's 58, she's got a heart murmur. She's hardly wanting to do loop-the-loops and things at that age and with that condition of her heart. It happens all the time. It's just one of these tragic mistakes that does happen.